Now I would like to refer to a term which we like a lot at YGA, being like a swan. When you look at a swan floating on the surface of the water, you see that actually there is this serenity, this calm picture, but the swan actually keeps trying to stand on the water the whole time. That's what actually a YGA member means. I will introduce you now to someone, Duygu, who never loses her calm in the face of difficulties. We talk about placing an anchor, right? And she knows where she placed that anchor. She never stops looking for solutions. And Duygu has been a role model for us as well as YGA volunteers for the past decade, and she is the project coordinator of Science Mobilization Project. I will be inviting Duygu now, and she's going to host two teachers, and then we're going to listen to Yapı Kredi Bank Demet from Yapı Kredi representative Demet Kurtoğlu Gençer and Arda Öztaşkın. Now connecting to Duygu. Hi, I'm Duygu. I'm a YGA volunteer since 2010. I met with YGA studying industrial engineering at Sabancı University. I worked for Mondela for 6 months after graduation. Then I resigned and I started to work for YGA. I'm the director of science mobilization project, and I learned how to do things not only for myself but for others here, and I see its impact on the disadvantaged middle school students in different parts of the country. That's why science mobilization is very important as a concept. We are going to meet with secret heroes of this project and get nourished from them. This is a social responsibility project initiated by YG, where we take the latest technology as a social development project to people who lack it. And here, as part of the protocol with the Ministry of National Education, we take mega robotic and coding sets, and we reached 527,000 students, and the science mobilization is becoming world science movement on a global scale. Let's look at the story of this local to global level.
We're all familiar with this narrative, right? Today, we can change it. There are millions of children who do have access to quality science education. World Science Movement was initiated to reach disadvantaged children to help fill the knowledge gap around the world. We help them learn to love science and adopt a scientific perspective. We aim to spread the joy of science to children by raising competent and civic-minded individuals who don't feel limited by barriers. We work hard to transform the science talents of today into the science professionals of the future. We envision a future where children equipped with a quality education can make meaningful contributions to the world. That's why we've been trusted by some of the top companies and education institutions in the world to carry out this consequential mission.
The YGA science movement aims to raise free thinkers, unique creators, and confident individuals across society.
Their dedication to improving human life is what really matters here. The world needs more people like them.
For me, the idea of World Science Movement is part of fulfilling ways of impacting the life of children or society at large. Let's do more to move the world scientifically.
I want to become an engineer one day. I imagine a future where all kids can become and do whatever they want to.
This program has brought me hope that I can drive a plane one day.
For society to thrive, no curious mind should be left behind. That's why we've taken steps with socially conscious individuals, corporations, and local partners to turn this vision into action. Join the movement and shape our society and empower the children of the future.
Aslında akla şöyle bir soru geliyor.
Actually, one thinks of this question. Have we reached all the children in Turkey because we are opening up the global. No, we have a lot of progress to make in Turkey, but just like in Turkey, children the world over need that support. We are taking this success story to the disadvantaged children in the world, starting with the premises of ask whatever you want for yourself, for others as well. In partnership with Rolls-Royce, we take these science sets to South Africa, Kenya, UAE, Singapore, Japan, and Turkey. Of course, this is not the whole of it. The real work starts after that. In order to have sustainability, we need teachers and volunteers for that. YGA volunteers and role model teachers in Turkey, as well as Marlborough College and other teachers are volunteers, so that we can make these science sets used in a sustainable way by others. And here we have two role models who helped us make this happen: Aycan Kabakçı and Barantigan. Aycan Kabak and Barantigan. Welcome, Professor Aycan, teacher Baran. Hi, Duygu. Thank you very much. Let's start by getting to know you, Ms. Aycan. Hi, Aycan Kavaklı. I work in Mersin. I work as an information technologies teacher. I've been serving in this role for the past 16 years. Actually, this was not a profession I dreamed of when I was a child, and high school was a turning point for me. I was aspiring to lead another career, and I was actually in another boarding school in Adana, and my father thought she couldn't let three children study at university. There was this saying of gold bracelet back then. That's why we were directed to vocational school, and thanks to our teachers, we were able to prefer the computer department, which had a feature. That's how my journey started. Hacettepe University, computer engineers and information technologies was my department. I mean, where I graduated from. Then I got assigned. For the first 2 years, I taught my students the daily and entertaining parts of technology. Then, when I was assigned to Mersin for the first time, I received students who came from eastern part of Turkey, and I'm still tasked there. And for the last 2.5 years, I work in the R&D unit of the Ministry of National Education. We are talking about a computer classroom which was used as a warehouse, as there were not computers. I spent a few weeks to turn that into a proper classroom, but then we started to have our projects at full speed. We created TÜBİTAK Science Expos, we had Erasmus programs, I conducted various STEM projects. Also, I was working as a volunteer trainer at another NGO, so I worked as an adult trainer, and we created face-to-face and online trainings in Mersin Science Academy, and we delivered training modules to over 20,000 teachers, including STEM, course designs, and computer use. We also had many e-conferences and expert get-togethers. Great. How did you meet with YGA, Professor? Well, I met with them together with the delivery of twin sets at our university. That was an important milestone for me, because before teaching coding, I had difficulty about how to explain those modules. So prepared modules enable teachers to grasp those sensor logic and understanding, and we saw very entertaining projects coming out of it. Also, we joined Özden's science camp, together with my students, and then YGA volunteers came to our school arranging a science session. That was also an important crossroads for my students. When they saw their volunteering, they wanted to be volunteers alike. And in a primary school in our neighborhood, they started to hold sessions for their brothers and sisters as we took our science sets to them. So they experienced that moment directly. Those were very enjoyable moments. That's why our heart connection as well as cooperation continues with YGA. It's great to hear that together with World Science Movement we are initiating this science mobilization around the world, but you sort of took the step before us. Can you tell us a little about how you took those science sets? Sure. We had an Erasmus project at our school. We are a partner together with 4 other countries: Italy, Lithuania, Portugal. We're all part of it. And we used twin sets together with them, holding a science section. And teachers were impressed a lot, especially teachers.
A Polish teacher told us that they really loved this and wanted to ask, or wanted to simply get a set, and we got into contact with YGA. And then there was another smart city project, and within the scope of the Earth concept we got into a contest, and this made sure that we were among the top 150 schools. So somehow everywhere we disseminated, and if I make the slightest contribution to the globalization, that would be perfect. Well, as you could see, even without us knowing or on their own with their efforts, our teachers are making a contribution to the science mobility. Thank you so much. Baran Hanım, let's hear you. I'm Baran Tigan. I'm a classroom teacher. I have been doing this profession for 17 years. And I always try to make sure that, not every year is the same as the previous one. So I was a very poor student, I mean in terms of the academic success, and because of the terror, my actually father was a teacher, but I was not doing academically well, and there was not a teacher which really changed my life back then, and it actually made me realize that I had to be that teacher, and the potentials. I wanted to uncover the potential and talent of every student that I encountered, and that was my promise to myself. First, I started to teach in a private school, and I served for 7 years. It was one of the leading private schools of Turkey, as Ahmet Kutsi Tecer says in his poem. There is this remote village over there, even though we have never visited it. So then I wanted to be transferred to a mountain village school in Bingöl, where I have been working as a decade. And starting from that process, that period, we established the first STEM classroom over here, and the talents, dreams, and the aspirations of any student can never be left to destiny. So we are trying to offer the students so many different opportunities, hence the science kits. And after they were introduced to science kits, they started to develop so many projects. Every student was trying to build their own robots because they have limited means. However, their students have huge creativity, and they could dream, and it is up to the teachers to make them happen. So we did our best to offer those, to untap the potential and talents, realize the talents of our students. Perfect. Baran teacher is not really talking about this, but let me do that for her. Their school is not the protocol school, but despite that, she went to the Ministry of National Education and she wanted to make it happen. And she's a good influencer. And we also discussed this at the summit. She has a high number of followers, so she's inspiring everyone. Last but not least, she was chosen as the year's female educator by Microsoft. She's humble. She's too humble to say that, but I just wanted to say those for her. Thank you so much, Duygu. Well, you have talked about a recent project. What is the contribution of those to your students? So with the project of the science mobility, this was not only Bingöl. In the eastern part of Turkey, there are so many disadvantaged cities and kids to whom we have sent the science kits. And the teachers observed so many different changes, positive changes. And the most obvious thing which I could share with you as a finding. In 1920s, in our classrooms, there were swimming classes, and taking the leap, that movement of overarming or the crawling was merely taught like on the floor without the water. But now coming to 2021, it's not merely theoretical, not only offering the videos or from the textbooks. We're not trying to do that. If we would like to, we should not do that. If we would like to teach the students something, therefore we would like to make sure that they risk, they get their hands dirty, they experience one thing. This is the opportunity that we offer them with science mobility. In Bingöl, we have 3 featured classrooms and workshops, and hundreds of children are working on projects with science sets, and they do their own work. They try to come up with solutions to their own problems. This is what we try to offer. And when we give them these opportunities, children can do their best. Lovely. And let's also talk about the story of the cross stitch. On the Republican holiday, on the Republicans' Day, we had the cross stitch for students. Well, for example, they can't do the coding, but this is a traditional coding in our culture. So on the Republic Day, they did a great cross stitch, and this is what I teach my students starting from year 1, and it really contributes to the manual skills, the hand development, the motor skills, and also they know how to code. They start to learn how to code. And when I shared this on my Instagram, so many teachers from the disadvantaged groups and places started to implement those. Dissemination is a great tool for us. Well, Aycan and Baran teachers are merely 2 of the hundreds of volunteer teachers we have. Within the scope of this program, they are taking initiatives, and they're actually overperforming, and they do this with passion. And this is a program which is implemented, contributing to both professional and personal lives. I have a question. Within the scope of the role model teachers, what were the contributions, particularly starting from the pandemic until now? Well, Duygu, this is how I could put it. In the lockdown period, within the pandemic, the same dreams. Teachers with the same aspirations or dreams came together, and it really was a very, very good feel-good factor. As Sevinç Atabay said, it was actually an incubation period for us. We were empowered with that, and we were motivated. We were given hope so that we could continue. and actually the first and second term role models meeting took place, and with that twin sets we had a twinning project. It was not only us but the students who came together, even though it was online, you know, there was sort of a gathering. And we even got the National Quality Awards because of the high quality of the project. And both on a professional and personal level, there were so many contributions. Expert guests or the guests of YGA, we got together, they heard our problems, and actually, my colleagues would perhaps agree with me, but we really felt very good, because if we really feel valuable, this is going to be the same way for our students as well. So it's going to have repercussions. And I think this is probably the most precious part of the program. It's completely comprised of volunteer teachers. It's a great richness. We get together with teachers from all over Turkey. It gave us hope. Thank you so much. So, as you have said greatly, if you feel valuable, then you will add value to your students. Well, if we could make you feel your own value, well, we're very happy. Baran teacher, what is the contribution of this program to your life? Well, starting from the very beginning, we witnessed every teacher's story. We discovered everything together. And our dream, we were partners or guests to the life stories of our dream partners. And probably the highlight of it all, when we were the least motivated, Sevinç Atabay's speech gave us huge inspiration. Not only Sevinç Atabay, of course, the addresses, the other speakers as well. And in the teachers' room conversations, teachers who are admired by the teachers and by the students. This was what we saw on the screen or within the program, and I think that was a great inspiration. And I was a workshop leader in a group, and one teacher said one thing. She said that, well, you know what, I was not on very friendly terms with the teachers' room, and here, as we have joint dreams, and I feel that I'm heard, I could easily share every dream, every aspiration of mine with you. And we were very happy to hear that. Actually, it was a very productive, full of training. It was a great process for all of us. Thank you. Thank you very much. So actually, this is the same aspiration, to make a contribution to the lives of the children, and this is what we feel together. With the visions and with their realizations, their contributions, we have hosted the stories, we have hosted and heard the stories of two great role model teachers. We're so glad that you are here with us. We're so glad that we have you with you. Thanks to you and the other role model teachers, these children learn how to be curious. As long as there is science and curiosity and interest, there is no room and there is no place for despair. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're glad to have you as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.